Hi, I'm Justin Smith, and you're on the record with the news reporter. Our guest today is Mike Creen, who is very involved locally in veterans organizations. He's going to tell us about that work. He's going to tell us about his service. He's also going to tell us about the upcoming Veterans Parade. Mike, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start with the veterans organizations that you are involved with. Tell us a little bit about what those organizations do.
Well, of course, I am president of the Vietnam chapter for here in Columbus County, and I'm also the president of the DAV, which is Disabled Americans, Veterans. And we have kind of joined together because we're a veteran organization that we want the people in this county, because this is our county, this is our home. The veterans that we have in this county, we want to make sure that they have and get the rights, the veterans' rights that they deserve for, leaving home, leaving parents, leaving brothers and sisters to give up their time to serve this country. And it is a great honor to serve this country, if it was in wartime or in peacetime.
So tell us a little bit about your service, Mike.
My service is I entered the Air Force and right out of high school. And of course I went to basic training, and then they sent me to a technical school to be a photographer. And in that sense that I got stationed, and of course in places like Okinawa, and then of course everybody knows that I'm a Vietnam veteran. I served there. I served on Okinawa, Japan, Korea. So I did a lot of time in the Far East, which is a total of 8 years. What I did was, basically I learned in Vietnam, I was a combat aerial photographer. Basically I documented the war that the Air Force that was involved in. Obviously I only covered the Air Force, not the Army or the Marines and that, but we've been flying around, and it's interesting when you go and you're flying in an airplane, for example, I flew with the South Vietnamese Air Force too, and we'd go on bombing missions with them, and my friend would be in another airplane and I'd be in the other one, and one of our jobs is take pictures of the ordnance that are on the airplane, and then we go in and take care of the target, and then we had to go in and take pictures of the target. And the enemy was not that friendly. But that was one of the kind of the most exciting that I did. But of course I was involved in rescues in Vietnam. I was going in, picking up downed pilots or even wounded soldiers. But that was an education. Luckily I got to go to survival schools and learn for myself if something happens to me and how I could survive, say if I was shot down, and what kind of conditions that I would be subject to. So it was a learning lesson that I just learned, but of course then the Air Force kind of rewarded me. I got a chance to go to Syracuse University for a year to study photojournalism. And from that point on, I was sent to Japan to work in the Stars and Stripes and Airman magazine in Japan, and traveled all over the Far East. So it was a very exciting career. And then the other part, they said, okay, with all that knowledge and that, we want you to teach. So I ended up teaching for 8 years at the Photojournalism Information School in Indianapolis, where I taught myself and the other military members that I was with, teaching our officers and our enlisted on the work that they'll have to do in the field as public affairs officials. So I really love teaching. That's one thing I hated to give up.
As a journalist, I'm very interested in what you did as part of your service, and I could talk to you about that all day. And maybe we can talk about that another time.
All day, yeah.
But that's incredible, and I know that you're still a photographer. I see you at veterans events, and chances are you're going to have that camera around your neck.
It'll be around my neck. It's with me all the time. And the other part was that as far as the photojournalism went, I was very lucky when I did retire that a newspaper down in South Carolina in Somerville South Carolina hired me as their photographer, their photojournalist. And of course, my wife was always involved because she would get phone calls from friends saying, your husband's working in the street again, covering accidents. But I got to work for that newspaper for 15 years before I finally said it's time to give it up.
Yeah, that can be exciting work. Probably not as exciting as what you saw in Vietnam and other parts of the world, but still, being a community newspaper photographer, you do see a lot.
You do see a lot, and you're involved in a lot of things. I was almost involved in them capturing or creating or going in and finding Hundley, the submarine that was they found in the harbor out there in Charleston Harbor, to going and covering festivals and being able to get close and photograph people doing what they do best and writing about how they were. I guess one of the side parts about was when 9/11, when the first airplane crashed into the tower, my editor sent me out to interview people. And of course I was standing found a television where they sell televisions, and people were gathered around that looking at it. And we're standing there, and then I was interviewing. I said, well, what do you think, what's going on? And pretty much we thought it was an accident. And then when the other tower was hit, everything got quiet. I mean, from that point on, people just stopped. The women that I was around were starting to cry and the guys are going, this is not an accident, this is something else. And then of course we heard later about the Pennsylvania crash, and then the airplane going in at the Pentagon. So really, for years and that, the coverage that we had to do was, and I'm sure here it was about the same way. It was totally a different era, and I was trying to figure out what was going on and how everything would react. But
and it's interesting, that you documented those two major events in U.S. history from different perspectives, right? You shot pictures for the military of the war in Vietnam, and then stateside for a local journalism organization for 9/11. I'm curious, how do you go from doing that work into the volunteer work that you're doing now as a leader with local veterans organizations?
I don't know, I guess you could call it my calling. He put me here to teach, and basically I'm still a teacher. Sometimes I get the high school students that will find out who I am, and especially during the events that we go into, and they'll ask me about what's it like in the military. And of course, when I tell them that I was a photojournalist, they're going, a photojournalist in the military? I said, yeah, we did, but a lot of my stories didn't get published, and of course, a lot of my pictures didn't get published either, because you're working for the military.
Right, you were shooting photos that, many of which were probably classified material.
Basically, that was a proud thing that we did, and just like everybody was talking, I was there for the guy next to me. I lost a couple friends. We all did lose somebody during that war, and the idea was that was our job. And that's the job that I was given in Vietnam. And that was my job when I worked for that newspaper in South Carolina. And sure, I got awards, and I got awards in the military, but it didn't count because it all meant that was what I was there for, and I did it the best I can. And it was hard to give it up after I left the military and the newspaper and live here in Whiteville. Of course, this is where my wife was born and raised, and all her cousins and brothers and sisters are from here. But I wanted to fit into this community, and sometimes, if I was lucky enough, take pictures and have them walk in your door and say, I have this picture. And of course, you and I have been on assignments together almost, like the last thing that we did. I love your pictures that you had in the paper on the dealing with the the fire department over there, and the honor for those guys that we lost our lives in 9/11.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. That means a lot.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about the mission of the organizations that you're a part of. So the Vietnam Veterans of America, the Disabled American Veterans. What are some of the issues that veterans are facing that people might not fully appreciate?
We are facing where we're not appreciated. We gave up time, and we're asking for things like give us better benefits, give us chance to earn that we want to serve this community. And our organizations, we serve this community. You were out there when the wall was here. I could not help but thank the community.
And for people who might not know what we're talking about, so we're talking about the Traveling Vietnam Memorial.
Yes.
That was on display earlier this year.
Yes.
At the Veterans Memorial Park of America,
Yes.
south of Whiteville. And it really was amazing to see just the scale of that. How did it make you feel to see that?
See, I had the night duty, okay, when everybody was gone and the wall was lit, and my job was my personal thing that I wanted to do was to walk the wall and touch the names of my brothers, as I did. I did that every night to let them know that somebody was here. I try not to get too emotional about that, but once you are standing there at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, the lights are on the wall and it's all lit up pretty. I don't know if everybody remember what that was like, those who went, and I thank them for coming to see the wall that heals. But everybody was gone, and that was my time with them. And I took advantage of it. We all had our jobs to do with the wall, but that was my job, was to protect the wall at night. And I cherished that job. I was just like that with the wall leave. But I've also been in Washington, D.C. to walk that wall there, the original wall, and it's very heartbreaking. And then you touch the wall. Doesn't matter what names are on there. It could be anybody's name on there, or the year that they died, or the period that they were from. But that was my brothers. They didn't come home like I did. But, and that was how I felt. And that's how I felt about this community, to keep this community going, letting them know what we are doing to this community. I mean, we have our things like the Boston Butts. Everybody knows where the veterans are going to do the Boston Butts.
Right, and your building is downtown on South Madison Street. It's right near the southern tip of downtown, right?
Yes.
Where Madison, Lee, and Franklin come together.
Yes.
And so you guys and ladies, have your Boston Butt sales.
Yes.
And so the proceeds support your program?
The supporter program where we have, we don't collect food. We give out, we turn all the money that we have into gift cards, and then give gift cards to our veteran families, and we've given money cards to some civilian families that really need it. Like we had a couple firemen that lost everything in fires, and then we had a Whiteville police officer that had some hard times. A gift card, it's just a $50 gift card, and they appreciate just that. To us, we felt that was from our heart. And what we do downtown, we have boot drops, and all the boot drops that we do, we try to make them interesting. Like in October around Halloween, I'm going to be out there in my clown outfit, giving out little bags of candy, and the money that we collect is going to go towards Christmas, and to help out, for example, the Baptist Association for them to buy toys and food or whatever. And we try not to say it's from us. We do everything anonymously. And then we have our veteran organization up here at the courthouse, where Kendra and her, I give her gift
And that's
cards.
that's the Veteran Services Department.
Yes.
Part of Columbus County government,
Yes.
right? Okay.
They, when a veteran needs help, they go to them. And we tell them to go see them first. And then she will call me up and say, okay, we have this veteran who needs some money, maybe to help out in a motel or gas to go somewhere. And then we'll give her the gift card, and we don't know who it is. We don't want to know who it is. That is her responsibility. My job is our job, the veterans of this county, is to help out as far and as much as we can.
So I know that your organization, it certainly helps other veterans, it helps other people in the community, but it probably also, I would think, is a good opportunity for veterans to be around other veterans, and there's probably a benefit to that, I would think. What would you say to people who might be watching this? Maybe they're a veteran, or maybe they're a relative of a veteran who is not associated with a group. What are the benefits, and how could they get involved?
We, of course, my phone number is on the door down there, and a lot of people know who I am. Matter of fact, I'm in that magazine that you put out with the little cards and that, with my name on there, with my email and my phone number.
Our business card directory.
Yes.
It's on our website.
Yes,
Yep.
I get that, because that really, I really love to see that. And of course, you want to find something out real quick, you go to that little magazine that you guys put out, and it really helps. And I'm glad we're in there. But that is not the only thing. Every day when I go out, if I see a veteran wearing a hat or good, I walk up and say, welcome home. They may not come we're involved in the Vietnam War, but they're a veteran, they served, and they're home. So they made it home, and that's why I always say, welcome home.
So, Mike, as our time today comes to a close, I want to talk about an upcoming event, and it is the Columbus County Veterans Parade. And tell us the details about that.
Okay, the Veterans Parade, of course, is going to happen. The parade is on the 8th of November. It starts at 11 o'clock, and we're contacting all the people that were involved in it last year about it's the same, it's going to be the same. The only place is it's going to be in a different location.
And I should probably say, too, there's been a parade for years and years in Nakana. This is the parade that's in Whiteville. So the one we're talking about today is the one in downtown Whiteville.
And then you brought up Nakana. We support Nakana because that is the oldest veterans parade in this county. It was Nakana. But Whiteville and us, the commissioners of this county, are the ones that directed us to come up with this, to organize it, give it all the heart that we give, and get the community involved, get the children involved, and the children involved in the coloring contest that we have, that we give to the pictures at the three different age groups, to every child here in Columbus County, in city of Whiteville. And then, for example, we had 700 entries last year.
In the coloring contest.
In the coloring contest in this county. It blew my... Sally Mann and I are the judges of it, and we hold it at her building.
The Columbus County Arts Council?
Yes, and all the pictures and all the entries, it will be on display in her building all that week and during the parade, and that for people to come in and see how much the children love our veterans. And that was the heartbreaking thing, to see that 700 kids appreciated and love the veterans of this county, just this county. That was what we're so, and that is what my goal. And if anybody goes by our building down on South Madison Street, they'll see some of the artwork in the window of how, from the 3 age groups that we have. And that is something that I truly believed in, that is the heart of this community, is our children.
So about the parade on November the 8th,
Yeah.
if local civic groups or Boy Scouts or whatnot, if they want to be involved in that, can they still sign up to
Oh,
be
yes,
in
we
that
can,
parade?
oh, yeah, we can, we're still putting out the information. Kendra over at the Veteran Center, she is a big contact. I am a contact. My name is on the form. And we sent a letter to every principal in this county and city of Whiteville to let them know who's in charge and how to find out what's going on. And if they want me to come there or Kendra to go there and talk to the county, all the mayors of this county too, they are totally involved. We sent them letters, so because they are an important part of what we do and how we be able to work in this community. The mayors are involved, the commissioners are involved. They are the heart of why we are doing this and why we're working so hard to put it together. And there's two things I have to bring up.
Okay.
If it rains, we're going to have the parade, okay? The only thing that's going to stop us from having the parade, if we have a hurricane and the destruction is so bad that we can't have it, that would be the only reason for us not having the parade. The other thing is that throwing of candy will not be done from any moving object in the parade. The kids and adults can walk along and pass out candy that way by walking beside it. But the mayor of Whiteville and the insurance that we have to take in that does not want to have kids running in front of any of the floats or in the vehicles.
Absolutely. Better safe than sorry there.
Yes.
Mike, thank you for what you do in our community and for your service to our nation. Thank you for being here today. Thank you all for watching On the Record. Again, the Columbus County Veterans Parade, Saturday, November 8th, rain or shine. You can watch past episodes of On the Record right now on our website, nrcolumbus.com.